So we would like a copy of that. I'm going to go ahead and make a verbal records request under Massachusetts open records law.
You'll have to do that.
I'm sorry, what?
You'll have to do that.
No, I am doing that right now. I'm letting you know right now that I'm making a verbal records request.
Like I said, to release it. So.
That's okay. You can get it to whoever, you can tell whoever.
It's been passed on.
Well, you don't have...
Who determines?
You're free to stay here if you like. You'll have to request make that request in writing.
That's not valid under Massachusetts law. A verbal request is required within a 10-day.
Okay.
You do not comply with records request laws? Okay, thank you.
I'd like a copy of the chain of custody on this.
Okay.
We put a request, and I've given a verbal request. She's given a verbal request.
We don't operate on verbal requests.
Well, that's Mass General laws.
Submit a written request to the Fall River Police Department, and we will surely adhere to your request.
When you speak about that, I'm with the Bay State Examiner. We've already issued several records requests, as well as...
Written?
Yes,
to the Fall River
absolutely.
Police Department?
As well as
And where did you drop those off?
We mailed them here. So.
Okay. You should drop them off to ensure that they're here.
Okay.
Okay.
So let me understand this correctly.
Well, can I finish?
Sure.
Okay. Return receipt is probably the best option to ensure that it is received here and who received it. Okay. And then if it was requested earlier, maybe that the investigation is ongoing, and part of Mass General law is we will not submit requests if it's part of the ongoing investigation.
Who's in charge of the records division here, or who receives records requests? Excuse me? So you don't know or won't say? I would like to follow up with you on some records requests that have been made by both my organization and the organization PINAC. We hadn't received a response back. It's been obviously more than 10 days.
Okay. Usually I know that there's actually an official submission for those records.
We certainly already have.
Oh, you've done that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm following up on those with you.
Okay, you haven't got a response?
No.
Well, there was supposed to be a fax. Someone was instructed to fax their request. They never received a fax.
Yeah.
Okay, that has nothing to do with my particular group, Bay State Examiner.
I have no information on that request one way whatsoever right now. All I know is that from this position, from this area right here, from the records area, from the records division, we have no information on that such request.
Who do I make out a records request to? Who should I send it care to?
I would say the information you're requesting, if someone's been contracted with the department, I would say that's an administrative issue.
Okay.
So you would address it to the chief of police's office,
okay.
Not necessarily to the chief of police, but to his office. Okay, at which time that would be reviewed and forwarded to what the necessary party that would address that for you.
When I sent a records request to the Fall River Police, if I don't send it specifically to their division, it's not going to get taken care of?
Okay, what I'm trying to say to you, ma'am, is that we each have a separate task here.
Sure.
Okay, and sometimes it's not beneficial or instrumental to combine those tasks.
Okay.
So what you're saying is that there was an agency contracted to perform whatever work for the department. It would not be necessary for my division to have that information at this time.
Okay. Are you the person who handles all the requests that come in?
Absolutely not.
Who is that person?
There's no one person to handle all requests. It depends on what you're requesting.
Okay, so you guys don't necessarily have a system, so when we send it in, if it's not to the appropriate division, it may not be addressed. Can I get a list of all the divisions so that if in the future I need to make a request, I'm able to?
I mean, I do not have time to be quite honest with you, respectfully,
certainly,
and give you every division and by what means you would follow to contact that division.
But you just said that that's what I need to do, and that's why basically this was not addressed appropriately before. I'm going to make that verbal request now. I would like a copy of the chain of evidence. Who has taken possession of that phone?
Definitely what you're asking for would have to be requested in writing.
It will be.
Your request would have to be examined, and then it would have to be decided that you're privy to that information.
Right, no, I understand the process.
So this is something that absolutely would not take place at this point in time.
I don't want you taking a short wrong either.
I don't know. It's just that there's a process that has to be followed.
That's correct. There's also Massachusetts laws that say that this is part of that process, that a verbal records request is a legal request that you are legally required to respond to within 10 days. I don't want there to be another confusion that whether or not, the request was made. I'm making this request now, here, in person, verbally to you. You have 10 days to respond. I will follow it up with a written request with all of the documents, but I live across Massachusetts. I can't come down every single time to do that.
Understood.
So,
that's not necessary. I'm sure that there's a way of doing it without you personally being here. So
then what is that way?
Through correspondence, through mail.
We've done that. It has not worked.
Be a representative necessary. I'm not sure exactly what they would request at that point, but what you're requesting me seriously is a point that we're not going to accomplish at this point.
I do not expect you to bring out these documents today.
Exactly.
What I'm doing is making a recording of me asking you today, right now, for these documents, which means that it's beginning the legal process of the records request, giving you 10 days to respond.
I think 10 days begins after the written request.
That is incorrect, and I suggest that you read the Massachusetts law. That is publicly available.
So once you receive that written request,
yep,
then your 10 days stop.
That is not true under Massachusetts law. A verbal request alone, in fact, even if I don't follow it up with a written request, which I will, because I want it to be easy, because I want the records.
Without the written request, how do we know what's specific, what you're looking for? Again, there may be things that
Why don't you take some notes?
There may be some things you're not entitled to.
I understand. Why don't you take some notes then?
It won't be necessary because once you
because you are
request,
not taking.
Someone will contact you.
So what you're saying is you do not take verbal requests as required under Massachusetts law.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying to you is if you comply with what's being requested of you to receive the information that you're looking for, the department will be more than happy to assist you.
That's not been the case because I have already done that process. That has not worked. So we are now doing this process.
Okay.
And you are refusing to take notes. You are refusing to take a verbal request as under Massachusetts law is your responsibility.
Okay, I am ending this conversation at this point in time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I've advised you of the procedure to follow. I cannot be of any more help to you.
If you found our reporting valuable and you want to support us, please like and share our content. Follow Bay State Examiner on Facebook and BS Examiner on Twitter, and stop by baystateexaminer.com. If you want to support more of our reporting, please consider donating to us directly. A link to our donation page is in the description. Thanks.